Look, I know what you are thinking right now. You have been scrolling through Zillow at 2 a.m. again, haven't you? Watching that 3-bedroom house you liked get marked pending for the 4th time this month, while you are still trying to figure out how to afford the down payment on a storage unit. Maybe you are living in a coastal city where a studio apartment costs more than your parents paid for their entire 4-bedroom house in 1987. Or maybe you are just tired of watching your rent increase every year while your salary does absolutely nothing. Here is the thing though, and I need you to really hear this. While half of America is fighting over $800,000 fixer-uppers that look like crime scenes, there are actual cities where you can buy a legit house for less than a new Toyota Camry. Yeah, I am serious. Not a shack, not a teardown, an actual house with walls and everything, and I get it. You have been told your whole life that homeownership is the American dream, right? Work hard, save up, buy a house, build wealth. Except nobody mentioned that the saving up part would take approximately 47 years at current prices, or that you would need to sacrifice your firstborn just to get a lender to take you seriously. I know you are frustrated. I know you feel like you are doing everything right and still getting priced out of basic stability. That is not in your head. That is real, and it is happening to millions of people. But here is where it gets interesting. If you are willing to challenge everything you think you know about where you should live, there is actually a path forward. Some of these cities are going to shock you. Some are going to make you question reality. And if you are smart about this, if you really pay attention to what I am about to break down, you might just find a way out of the rental trap that has been draining your bank account. So smash that like button if you have ever felt personally victimized by the housing market, and get ready because we are about to tour 10 US cities where home prices are so low, you will think it is a scam. Let us get into it. Number 10, Birmingham, Alabama. Median home price? Try $140,000. Yeah, you read that right. In Birmingham, you can buy a 3-bedroom house for what people in San Francisco spend on a year of therapy about not being able to afford a house. The city has about 200,000 people, a growing medical sector thanks to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and food so good you will forget you ever cared about overpriced avocado toast. Here is what is wild. Birmingham's housing market has actually appreciated about 8% over the past year. That is not stagnation, that is growth. There is a downtown revitalization happening, with breweries and restaurants popping up like they are trying to speedrun gentrification. Red Mountain Park offers 1,500 acres of trails if you are into that outdoorsy thing. The Civil Rights Institute is genuinely one of the most important museums in America. Real talk though, summer humidity will make you question every life choice that brought you there. You will step outside and immediately regret it. That is how sticky it gets. Public transit is basically non-existent, so you will need a car. Job opportunities outside of healthcare and education can be limited. But picture this, you are sitting on your front porch, your porch that you own, on a spring evening. The mortgage payment that just auto-drafted from your account was $890. Your neighbor waves from their yard. Somewhere in the distance, someone is smoking ribs. You are building equity instead of paying someone else's mortgage. Comment below if you would trade city life for actual home ownership, because I genuinely want to know where you are drawing that line. Number 9, Memphis, Tennessee. Median price $135,000. Memphis is basically the poster child for underrated American cities with shockingly affordable housing. You have Graceland, Beale Street, and barbecue that will make you weep openly in public. The city sits on the Mississippi River, has a metro population of 1.3 million, and offers a median home price that sounds like a typo. The music scene is not just history, it is still happening. Sun Studio, Stax Records, and the blues clubs on Beale Street still pack crowds every weekend. FedEx is headquartered here, which means logistics jobs are plentiful. The Memphis Medical District is one of the largest in the country. And the cost of living overall is about 85% of the national average. But okay, let's be honest. Memphis has a crime problem. Not everywhere, not all the time, but you have to do your homework on neighborhoods. The school system is inconsistent at best. And if you are not into soul food and barbecue, you are going to have a bad time because that makes up about 60% of the local cuisine. Still though, imagine actually being able to save money every month. Real savings, not the kind where you skip Starbucks and get an extra $20, the kind where you are putting $800 a month into investments. That is the Memphis difference right there. Number 8, Toledo, Ohio. This one is going to surprise you. Median home price is $132,000. Toledo sits on Lake Erie, has about 270,000 people, and honestly gets way more hate than it deserves. The Toledo Museum of Art has a glass pavilion that is legitimately stunning, and it is free. The Metro Park system has over 12,000 acres of green space. The housing market here is showing some interesting signs of life, with sales activity up 6% in recent months according to 2026 forecasts. Here is the economic situation. Toledo's economy used to be very dependent on manufacturing, particularly auto and glass. That has been changing. Healthcare is now the biggest employer. Owens Corning and Dana Incorporated still have major operations here. The Port of Toledo is one of the busiest on the Great Lakes. The winters will absolutely destroy you, though. Lake effect snow is not a cute aesthetic. It is a lifestyle of scraping ice off your car at 6 a.m. in negative temperatures. The job market is improving, but it is not exactly booming. And there is definitely a Rust Belt vibe in some areas that can feel depressing if you are not ready for it. But check this. A $132,000 house in Toledo would cost $850,000 in Seattle. That is not an exaggeration. You could literally buy 6 houses in Toledo for the price of one mediocre condo in a coastal city. 6 houses. If you are watching this from an expensive city right now, comment what your rent is. I want everyone to see these numbers side by side. Number 7, Rochester, New York. Median home price, $155,000. Rochester has about 200,000 people in the city proper and over 1 million in the metro area. The University of Rochester and Rochester Institute of Technology bring in young people and innovation. Kodak and Xerox were born here, and while they are not what they used to be, there is still a strong optics and imaging industry. The food scene is way better than it has any right to be. The garbage plate is a local delicacy that is exactly as gross and amazing as it sounds. Wegmans, the grocery store that has a literal cult following, started here. The public market on Saturdays is fantastic, and you are close enough to Niagara Falls to do day trips. Winter though, we are talking an average of 99 inches of snow per year. That is over 8 feet of snow. The sun does not really exist from November to March. The city's population has been declining for decades, which is part of why houses are so cheap. But here's what nobody talks about. Rochester's housing market is actually on Realtor.com's top markets to watch for 2026. That means appreciation potential. That means buying low before everyone else figures it out. That means you could actually build wealth here instead of just treading water financially. Coming in at a median price of $165,000. Milwaukee has 600,000 people, sits on Lake Michigan, and has a culture that punches way above its weight. The Milwaukee Art Museum looks like a spaceship. Summerfest is the world's largest music festival. And yes, the beer thing is real. There are breweries everywhere, and they are all fantastic. The economy here is more diverse than you might think. Manufacturing is still big, including Harley-Davidson, but healthcare, education, and tech are growing. Marquette University brings students and jobs. The public school system has some genuinely good options if you know where to look. But segregation is a real issue here. Milwaukee is one of the most segregated cities in America, and that creates all sorts of social and economic divides. Winters are brutal in that special Midwest way, where it is not just cold, it is aggressively cold, like the cold has a personal vendetta against you. Still, you are talking about a major metro area with actual culture, jobs, and amenities for $165,000. That is a down payment in Los Angeles. That might be enough to rent for a year in Manhattan. Here, it is a whole house. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of these market shifts, because once everyone catches on to these prices, they will not last forever. Median price is $180,000. Pittsburgh is low-key having a moment right now, and nobody is talking about it. The city went from Steel Town to Tech Town, with Google, Apple, and Uber all having major operations here. Carnegie Mellon University is pumping out tech talent. UPMC is one of the largest healthcare employers in the country. The city has 300,000 people, sits at the confluence of 3 rivers, and has neighborhoods with actual character. The Strip District is the place for food and markets. Lawrenceville offers hipster vibes. Shadyside has tree-lined streets that look like a Hallmark movie. The cultural scene includes world-class museums, a symphony, and sports teams that people are genuinely passionate about. The bridges, though. Pittsburgh has 446 bridges. You will spend a non-trivial portion of your life sitting in traffic on bridges. The topography means driving anywhere involves going up or down a hill. Winter salt destroys cars. The old Pittsburgh left driving custom, where the first car turning left goes before oncoming traffic, will give you anxiety. But imagine this: you are a young professional making $65,000 a year. In San Francisco, you are choosing between rent and food. In Pittsburgh, you are a homeowner with money left over for actually enjoying life. That is not a small difference. That is a completely different existence. Number 4, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The median is $175,000 in a city of 700,000 people. Oklahoma City is weird because it is affordable, but also growing. The population increased 20% in the last decade. The economy is diversifying beyond oil and gas into aerospace, biotech, and renewable energy. Paycom and Chesapeake Energy are headquartered here. The Thunder brought legitimate NBA culture to the city. The cost of living is about 15% below the national average. Bricktown Entertainment District got a legitimate glow up. The Oklahoma City National Memorial is moving and important, and you are close enough to Texas to do weekend trips, but far enough away to avoid some of the Texas feel. Let's be real though. Tornado season is a thing, like a real thing where you need a plan and a safe room. The summer heat is oppressive. We are talking about days above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, where stepping outside feels like opening an oven. The cultural scene is improving, but it is not exactly New York. And if you are not into church culture, you might feel like an outsider. But $175,000 for a house in a growing city with jobs and opportunity in 2026, when the median U.S. home price is approaching $400,000? Come on, the math is mathing. What do you think about paying property taxes on a home you bought with already taxed income that you will pay taxes on again when you sell? Because that system makes total sense, right? Median price, $125,000. In a city of 372,000 people with a metro area of 2 million. Cleveland gets clowned on constantly, but here's what people do not know. The Cleveland Clinic is literally one of the best hospitals in the world. University Hospitals is massive. Case Western Reserve University brings research dollars and students. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is actually pretty cool. The food scene is underrated. You have everything from Eastern European pierogies to world-class fine dining. The West Side Market has been operating since 1840. Tremont and Ohio City neighborhoods are genuinely hip with breweries and restaurants, and Lake Erie provides beaches and recreation that people forget about. The sports suffering is real, though. Cleveland fans have endured pain that should qualify as a medical condition. The weather is gray about 200 days a year. The Cuyahoga River caught on fire once, which is both hilarious and deeply concerning. Certain neighborhoods are still struggling with the aftermath of the foreclosure crisis, but think about this. For the price of a 10% down payment in Boston, you could buy a house outright in Cleveland. Outright, no mortgage, just property taxes and insurance. Imagine the financial freedom of not having a mortgage payment in your 30s. $130,000 median in a city with 300,000 people and a metro area of 2.8 million. St. Louis has the Gateway Arch, a food scene that includes toasted ravioli and gooey butter cake, and Forest Park, which is bigger than Central Park and has free museums, a free zoo, and free outdoor concerts. Washington University and St. Louis University bring in students and culture. The medical and biotech sectors are growing, and the cost of living is roughly 85% of the national average. The city has legitimate history. It was the gateway to westward expansion, hosted a World's Fair, and has architecture that will make you stop and stare. The Del Mar Loop has music venues and restaurants. The Hill is an Italian neighborhood with some of the best food in the Midwest, and Anheuser-Busch is still headquartered here. Crime is an issue, particularly in certain areas. The city-county divide creates weird political and economic situations. The humidity in summer will make you question humanity's decision to live in the Mississippi River Valley. And there is definitely some cultural conservatism that might not vibe with everyone, but $130,000 for a house in a major metro area with jobs and culture and actual things to do. When I was growing up, my parents told me I would need to be a doctor or lawyer to afford a house. In St. Louis, you can do it on a teacher's salary. That is not nothing. Comment your current city and what a basic 3-bedroom house costs there. I want to create a database of pain in these comments. Number 1, Detroit, Michigan. Median home price, $75,000. Population, 639,000. Yeah. You might think there is a catch. Detroit has been through the auto industry collapse, the 2013 bankruptcy, and years of population decline. All of that is real. But here is what is also real. Detroit is quietly, slowly coming back in ways that feel more sustainable this time. Downtown and Midtown are genuinely nice now. The Detroit riverfront is gorgeous. The Detroit Institute of Arts has Diego Rivera murals and one of the best art collections in America, and it is free for city residents. Eastern Market is one of the oldest public markets in the U.S., and it is thriving. The auto industry is still here, but it is evolving, with Ford, GM, and Stellantis investing billions in electric vehicle technology. Dan Gilbert moved Quicken Loans headquarters downtown and brought thousands of jobs. The tech scene is growing. Google has a major office here. The city is attracting young people who are priced out of coastal markets but want urban living. Crime remains an issue in some neighborhoods. The school system has serious challenges. Winter is long and gray. Public transit is limited, so you will likely need a car. And there are still blocks of abandoned houses in some areas that look post-apocalyptic. But here is the thing nobody wants to acknowledge. You can buy a house in Detroit for the price of a used Honda Civic. A renovated house in a decent neighborhood for under $150,000. A newer condo in downtown for $200,000. These are not theoretical numbers, these are real listings right now. According to Realtor.com and US News data from 2026, Detroit is consistently ranked as one of the most undervalued housing markets in America. That implies potential appreciation. It means you could buy now and actually build equity. It means getting in before everyone else figures it out. Look, I know this isn't easy. I know uprooting your life to move to a city you've never considered is scary. I know you've probably got family and friends where you are now. I know your parents might think you're making a huge mistake. And I know these cities aren't perfect. None of them are. But here's what I also know. You deserve to own something. You deserve to build wealth. You deserve to stop watching 40% of your paycheck disappear into rent every month while your landlord gets richer. You deserve financial stability and the chance to actually save for your future instead of just surviving month to month. These 10 cities aren't for everyone. Maybe they're not for you, but if you're willing to be strategic, if you're willing to look past the stereotypes, if you're willing to bet on yourself and on communities that are fighting to come back, there is real opportunity here. Opportunity that doesn't exist in overpriced coastal markets where you need a trust fund just to get a lender to return your calls. The housing market has fundamentally changed. The old rules don't apply anymore. Waiting for prices to crash in popular cities isn't a strategy, it's a hope. Meanwhile, you could be building equity in markets that are actually affordable right now. So, subscribe if you want more real talk about navigating this broken housing market. Drop a like if this gave you something to think about. And seriously, comment which of these cities surprised you most, or if there are other affordable markets I should cover. Because we're all in this together, trying to figure out how to build a life in an economy that seems designed to keep us renting forever. Your dream of home ownership isn't dead. It just might be in a place you haven't considered yet. Click another box on your screen to watch another video covering the real estate economy.